Good morning, grade 6. So this video is just to explain your project, your social studies project, all right? So it's the Ancient Athens unit assessment, and ultimately what we're asking ourselves is, would you live there? In this unit, we explore the city-state of ancient Athens, and through this we learned where the principles of democracy were born. But the democracy that most societies practice today isn't the same form that was practiced in ancient Athens, right? We should know based on that Alberta, ancient Athens comparison that there are actually a lot of differences, right? Maybe they do have the same fundamental principles, right? But maybe they were executed, maybe they're carried out very differently. The social role, so that's the slaves, the medics, and the citizens, and the structure of the government, Council of 500, the Assembly, the courts, uh, were very different than most communities today. A pillar of modern democracy is equity, which relates closely to the idea of fairness. Again, this is all just review. The question is, though, was ancient Athens the birthplace of democracy, a fair society? Better yet, would you live there? And that's what you're doing. By exploring this idea of was it fair, you're going to answer the question, would I live there? I didn't mean to rhyme. That's kind of just what happened, right? So once again, the purpose of this assignment is by exploring was ancient Athens fair, you're going to answer the question, would I live there? For this assignment, you need to do the following. First, you need to decide on whether you would or wouldn't live in ancient Athens based on the fairness of social roles and the fairness of government structure, right? Not based on, oh, I don't like olives, so I wouldn't do very well in Greece, or it don't say there's a coronavirus, so of course I wouldn't move to Greece. This is a hypothetical. If you had a time machine and you only had one way to go, and it could only bring you straight to ancient Athens, would you go? Right? And it's not about how good your life is here, it's about how fair is ancient Athens. That's a good thing. I don't want to have any personal essays. I want your examples about yes, I would, yeah, no, I wouldn't, based on those ideas of equity. If you would live there, what you need to do then is create an advertisement highlighting why ancient Athens is a fair and equitable society. But if you wouldn't live there, you need to create a protest highlighting why ancient Athens isn't a fair and equitable society. So step one, would you or wouldn't you? Step two, you're going to create a protest highlighting why. Now, protest or advertisement. Now, your protest or advertisement can either be a display ad, a radio podcast ad, or a video ad. And I'm going to explain all of those below. So first, what you have a pro. So this is what you have to have no matter what format you choose. All right, no matter what format you choose, these are what you have to have. So you need to create an advertisement either promoting ancient Athens as a fair society, or you need to create a protest. Right. First thing you need is a clear position. So when I see your protest or your advertisement, I need to be able to very clearly see that you want to live in ancient Athens and you want others to live in ancient Athens, right? Advertisement is essentially just trying to sell something. And so while this isn't a product, it's maybe an experience, it's more an ideal, right? You're trying to sell, if it's an advertisement, you're trying to sell this idea that ancient Athens is a great place to live. Why? Right? And then you answer the why with factual information. You need at least, in order to get a CA, you need at least 2 examples from the topics of roles of ancient Greece. So you got to read through and explore the roles of ancient Greece, right? And you need to think of 2 topics about why is that attractive? Why should people come over and work, right? And you need 2 examples of government structure. Again, and it's about not coming over and working somewhere, but is it fair, right? Is the roles of ancient Greece fair? Is the government structure fair? Or you're creating a protest. Sorry, a protest. A protest is the opposite of an advertisement. A protest is actually not saying buy this product, it's saying don't buy this product or don't do this. It's going to be very negative. But right away, whenever I read or hear or watch your product, I should tell right away that that's a negative ad, right? I should tell right away that, ooh, This person does not want me to go to ancient Greece, right? I would not live in ancient Athens, sorry, because, again, you need 2 reasons for each one. All right? So this is what you need to have really by the end of your assignment. You also need a variety of creative multimedia. So what this is, I'm testing your creative bone, right? Marketing is when you're trying to sell something, right? Marketing is when you're trying to market a product. And marketing nowadays, it usually goes to the most creative people. So now how can you use things like sounds, images, uh, animation, and text? You can use words in order to creatively try to sell me this product. Look up any kind of advertisement poster, and you should be able to find some good examples. I have some below. At the end of your project, you should be able to answer this question. So based on the ideals of fairness and equity, would you live in ancient Athens? So I should be able to tell yes, I would, no, I wouldn't, based on these ideals of fairness and equity. So remember, these examples you have should reference to fairness and equity. So you don't, right? We will talk more about this if you need to talk more about this, but I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Now your 3 options. You can create, number 1, a display ad. This is a visual ad which contains images and text to convey information. The images should be relevant and connect to your examples, right? So remember, you need 4 examples, right? If we go, sorry, I'll go down later. But remember, we need 4 examples. 4 examples. Well, your examples should be. I'm just gonna make sure you can see everything. Yeah. Your examples should be, or your images should be relevant to your examples. They shouldn't just be random things. Okay, so if we look at this first example here, right, the reason why this image is powerful is because it shows the diversity of Italy, right, from the hills and the trees, but the tree is part of this boat that's in Venice, right? So it's showing you all the diverse areas of Venice. But the images are relevant to what, of Italy. The images are selling what Italy should be, right? So the images should be creative and appealing. This is a creative image. One image is all it takes sometimes to be creative. Most importantly, all information and images to stick to your position. That means you're not having anything that's not going to be saying don't. If you think you should come to ancient Athens, you're not going to have anything to say about not coming to ancient Athens. All right. This is most similar. So if you're trying to think of what does a display ad look like, look up billboards or look up advertisement posters like I have here for the Italy one. This is a poster, right? Tylenol. If you don't know what that is, right, it helps you with headaches. So what's creative is there's a crane in the background, and it looks like it's going through. It looks like an accident, right? But it's demonstrating what it feels like to have a strong headache, and Tylenol is basically saying like get back to normal. So it's using text and images to sell a product. That Tylenol is effective even against these big accidents. The only problem is you need a little bit more textual information on yours, right? You still need the 2 examples, but we're looking for a creative image as well. You can either draw this, so if you have a piece of paper, you can draw this out as long as I can read it, or you can create it on a computer, which means you can like manipulate one slide. I do not want a slideshow, right? You will not do very well if you submit a slideshow. Okay, I want one image that is an advertisement for or a protest against going to ancient Athens. Next, we have a radio podcast ad. So radio is purely audio. So maybe you're not confident in your drawing, maybe you're not confident in your filmmaking, and you just want to record your voice. Okay, but with radio, since you only are limited to one source of multimedia, you have to use that creatively. It should be roughly 45 minutes to 45 seconds, not 45 minutes, 45 seconds to 1 minute in length. All right, you want to include things like sound effects and songs that are creative and relevant for the position that you take. You still need to talk about all 4 examples and a clear position. All right, so so some tips, just because you only have your audio, right? You really want to try to sell and convey your purpose. Use emotion. Use emotional language, right? Talk about like how ancient Athens is the best place, right? Or maybe say it's the absolute worst. Do you want to be treated this way? I don't think so. Okay, exaggerate a little bit, but keep it factual too. Use emotion. Keep it short and concise. It's not a speech, right? It's an ad. And then repeat key points. So the best thing is whatever your key points are, you can repeat that quite a bit of time in that 45 seconds. You also have to attach your script. So let's scroll in. Oh, don't want that. Come on. Right, you have to attach your script. So whatever you say, you need to type out and then submit. That way, I know. So if you have a moment where you, just like I did, where you kind of stutter, or you have a moment where you forget what you're saying, or you have a moment that I can't hear you, then that way I just can read the script. Here are 2 examples. Please click on them and listen to them. And I want you to listen to the tone and how they sound, right? How they're really trying to sell you a product. You need to sell me a point of view. And then the fact that they repeat their facts to bring attention to the main point. Right? They use music, they use multimedia. It sounds very professional. That's how you're going to get to your E. And the last one is a video ad. All right, this one combines audio and visual. You all know this type of ad. This is the type of ad, something along the lines of a YouTube ad, right? So before you click skip frantically like I do, right, you see this pop up. For multimedia, you can create a video or use sound effects and visuals. You can make a comedic strip. You can tell a story. Sorry, I just kept reading and I actually didn't know what I was saying. You can create a comedic script. So oftentimes commercials on TV are trying to be funny. Right? So maybe you can try to bring some comedy into this if that's what you're in. You can also maybe try to tell a story. But whatever you have to sell your position. Okay? Once again, you have to attach your script. Two examples. One is for Disney. One is for Sprite by LeBron James. Very different styles. One for Disney shows you scenes of what it's like to be at Disneyland and explain the feelings that you would get when you're there. But they're still very factual about why Disneyland is good. In Sprite, it's just an image of LeBron James, and he's kind of going through different scenes. And it's an anti-ad. He says, "I'm not going to tell you why Sprite is good," but then he explains all the reasons why Sprite is good. Okay, so you can either film other stuff and you can talk over it, or you can just film yourself doing things and talking while you're trying to sell it. Okay, here's our rubric. The big thing is your position. I'm trying to look for if you have a clearly defined position. Is all, because remember you need at least 2 examples. Well, in order to get an E, you need 3+ of good detailed examples. I'm looking for social roles and government structure to be mentioned in your project. And the last one is, how did you use your multimedia? Did you creatively use images? Did you did you make a creative video? All of these things. Okay, that's the video. We'll obviously go over this a little bit more on Tuesday. Thursday at 2. But for now, I would love for you to get started because this will be due next week. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a good day.